Did you know that your conscious mind is not alone in the manifesting process? It's not. And if you've been thinking that being the operant power means everything hinges on your conscious thoughts, your deliberate focusing work, you may be feeling an immense amount of pressure to get it right. And I'm here to help alleviate that stress because your conscious mind is not alone, but yet you are the operant power. We're going to jump into that in just a moment. But first, if you're new to my channel, hello, welcome. My name is Amy. I share information that I've learned along the way of my manifesting journey in hopes that it will help you in yours. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I have that same name over there as it is here. I'll also link it down below. That's where I post fun things like my pumpkins that I'm growing because I have a pumpkin patch, and also manifestations like that time I met Oprah. So you have to scroll back for that one. Anyway, let's jump into this information. So when you are deliberately focusing, you are using your conscious mind, and your conscious mind has a habit of thinking it is alone. And then it hears that it's the operant power, and then it is like, oh, that's amazing, I can have whatever I want, yay. And then all of a sudden it feels really stressed out because of that. This happens to so many people. It has happened to me numerous times. So the solution is very simple. The solution is understanding your conscious mind is not the only part of you that is working on your manifestation. Your conscious mind is not alone, but you are the operant power. You, in the phrase, you are the operant power, is you in totality, all of the aspects of you, not just your conscious mind. So you may be thinking, okay, there's more than an aspect of my conscious mind. I've heard about that. It's called my subconscious. Yeah, I'm not referring to your subconscious. I'm talking to your God self. So in this video, we're not going to go too deep into the terms. There's a lot of terms out there to describe the same different aspects of yourself. The terms do not matter. As Jake Ducey says in a lot of his videos, or I think he mentions it, I don't know if it's Wallace Waddles, but anyway, he references it where he always says, you can't get wet from the word water. It doesn't matter what you call it. Water is water, and this aspect of you is this aspect of you, and it's there regardless of what you label it. So in this video, we're talking about your conscious mind. That's the one you're deliberately doing your focusing and thinking with, and then your higher self is what we're going to call it for simplicity here. Since your conscious mind is not alone, it can take breaks and relax and allow the higher self to work on the manifestation behind the scenes. There's a great example for this, and this is what I wanted to tell you as the solution. I may have mentioned it in a previous video, but if not, I believe Joseph Ally definitely has in one of his older videos, where we've all had the experience where we're trying to remember somebody's name or a word, and it's right there, and we know it, but we can't pull it up to say it to somebody at that time, or we can't pull it up and reference at that moment. So what happens? You put a lot of conscious attention, your conscious mind puts a lot of focus on, I know it, what is it? Oh my God, it's right there, I can see it, it starts with an M or an H or a Z. It's one of those, but it's right there, I know it. And you focus on trying to pull it up and pull it up and pull it up. And what happens? It doesn't come up while you're doing that. That is the conscious mind doing its job of focusing. Or if you're trying to remember where an item is, and you're like, where did I put it? You try to track your steps backwards and figure out where it is. Your conscious mind is doing its job in that moment. However, when does the manifestation happen? When do you remember the word? When do you remember the name? When does the placement of the item that you have misplaced finally come to you? When your conscious mind stops doing the focusing work. We've all had this experience where you could try for 20 seconds or 5 minutes to pull up a word, and it's almost always when you're like, whatever, it'll come to me. Whatever, I'll figure it out. Bam, it pops up. And this is exactly like the manifesting process. So when anyone like me comes along and says, you can relax, do some focusing work, and then, hey, go enjoy your life. We're saying that because we know while you're enjoying your life or doing something else or cleaning out your closet or taking a nap or doing anything other than deliberately focusing, your manifestation will just sort of appear because there's a higher aspect of you that is still working on it. Because we know the conscious mind is not alone. So if you are feeling pressure to get it right, it's because you probably think your conscious mind is alone in this manifestation game. If you are feeling like you can't stop thinking about it, otherwise you won't get your manifestation, that's also the same thing. Your conscious mind thinks it's not alone. I mean, it does think it's alone. It thinks that if I stop, nothing will happen. Well, your God self is still working on it. Your God self is doing your God self, first of all, became you. And then it keeps you alive. I mean, are you consciously keeping yourself alive? What are you doing to consciously keep yourself alive? You may be like, well, I eat and I drink water. No, I mean, like, what are you doing consciously to bring your energy into your body and be an animated human being? Nothing. You're not doing that. Your God self is doing that. And I also have a video I posted recently, I'll link it up above and down below as well, where I'm in a sunflower field. It's a super short video just to make a point to show you your conscious mind does not grow the flowers. It didn't grow a sunflower field. And you may think, well, I thought about one and then you posted a video. Yeah, but it didn't create the flowers. You selected the experience from the creation that exists. And your conscious mind is not doing everything. It's not in charge of the entire process. So as I tell you this, the whole point of me doing this particular video is not to explain how the higher self works or how the conscious mind works. It's to help you understand that your conscious mind can relax. It can take a break. It can do a little bit of focusing work and then go to the pool. It can take a little bit of focusing work and then go to the grocery store. It can do a little bit of focusing work and then hang out with your friends. It can do a little bit of focusing work and not feel so pressured to get it right or to be on it 100% of the time. So it's understanding that doing the work is taking the time to use your conscious attention, your conscious mind, and focus on what it is that you want as though you already have it. You can do that through scripting, feeling work, visualizing, thinking, mental diet, affirmations. Sky's the limit on different focusing techniques. The key with all focusing techniques is to remember that you are focusing on already having it when you do it. Then the rest of the time, you can just go about your business and trust that your higher self will be working on it. Now, you may be like, well, Amy, don't you have 4 steps? Yeah, my 4 steps are to help the conscious mind disengage from working on it. So the conscious mind then checks, does it believe it's possible? Yep, all right, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to consciously spend more time focusing on whether or not I believe in it. What about resistance? Oh, it can happen even though I have resistance. I'll accept my resistance, no big deal, it can still happen. That's turning it over to the God self if you think about it. And then detaching, I want it, I don't need it. This is because when you need something, you stay hyper-focused on it. And we want you to relax a little bit and just let your mind drift off to other things, even for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, an hour, just to give that higher self time to sort of rearrange things for you. Now, can you have a manifestation while you're thinking about the subject? Absolutely. However, if you really stop and think about it, think about the things that have happened in your life. Are they happening exactly in the moment you're thinking about them? Not all the time. They're really happening when you get busy doing something else. My battery died in the middle of all this, so I don't remember where we left off. However, let's just recap real quick. So basically, your conscious mind is not alone. You are still the operant power. You is the totality of you. That includes your higher self and all other aspects of you. And your higher self is working on it, and your subconscious is working on it when your conscious mind is busy doing other things. Your conscious mind does not need to feel 100% responsible for every single thought or getting the manifestation correct. It just doesn't need to do that because it's not alone. So if you feel like everything is on your conscious mind and all of your thoughts and you can't get it right, just remind yourself, I'm not alone. I can relax. My higher self can work on it. This would be understanding the process, which will allow you to have trust in it. And does not mean that your higher self is going to manifest it 5 seconds after you forget about it, because the timing will happen as part of the how. So orchestration is the higher self's job. Orchestration includes the how and the when. So don't worry about the when, because your higher self is you. It's you. It's not something outside of you. It is you. It's just a infinitely more intelligent part of you that does not need your conscious attention 24/7 to manifest. In fact, it really wants your conscious mind to just go sit at the park and look at the flowers and look at the clouds and, play frisbee with your dog. So different version of Amy here. So after I put the stuff away from making the video, I looked over my notes and realized I didn't tell you the thing I really wanted to say. So I'm just going to insert this here somewhere in the video. I don't know where. Basically, the conscious mind has the deliberate focusing activity. The higher self has the orchestrating activity. The conscious mind can get in the way by constantly working on it, efforting, trying too hard, not relinquishing its role to let the higher self do its role. So you can have your conscious mind do the deliberate focusing work, and then simply say something to yourself like, I'm now going to go do something else. My higher self's going to work on it. My higher self has this. My higher mind has this. My God self is on it. Now, this doesn't mean you have to let go once forever. You can go back and forth, creating a nice flow between deliberate focusing, turning it over to the higher self. Deliberate focusing, turning it over to your inner being. Deliberate focusing, turning it over to your higher mind. It's a perfectly fine thing to do back and forth. You can do it several times a day. You can do it several times a week. You can do it once. There is no right or wrong way to do that. So don't feel like you have to do this once and then let go. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's understanding that your conscious mind does not need to do the job of the higher mind. Something else I really wanted to say, which I don't think I mentioned earlier in the video, is I learned this information years and years ago from Bashar's teachings. Bashar. Bashar teaches parallel realities and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to go too deep into it because that information is taught so well by him that you could look it up and find it there. However, I just wanted to definitely give credit where credit is due. I applied this information in my life. I stopped letting my conscious mind think that it was doing the whole process by itself. I started turning things over to the higher mind, and wouldn't you know it, I created a very nice relationship between the two, the conscious mind and the higher mind, and manifestations would come in much more easily. So this is why I wanted to put this information out there. You are deliberately manifesting. Your conscious mind is definitely one of the players in the game, but it is not the only player in the game. The higher mind is there and it is waiting to be tagged in. So now don't worry, it's still working on it even if you don't tag it in. This is just a little way for your conscious mind to deliberately disengage. So to deliberately disengage from efforting 24/7, all your conscious mind has to do is give itself some sort of permission to relax. So I'm going to tag my higher self in is permission for the conscious mind to relax. Higher self is still working on it anyway, but I just want to put this information out there for you in case you were like watching this whole video and you're like, this is all great, but like, what do I do? How do I do it? Tell yourself, I did my deliberate focusing for now, turning it over to the higher mind. Later, deliberate focusing now, turn it over to the higher mind. Go back and forth and you'll see magic happen. So I hope this helps you guys. Happy manifesting. Remember, your conscious mind is not alone. You are still the operant power. Your higher self is still working on it even when you're asleep, because you're asleep a third of your life. Your conscious mind is asleep a third of your life. Your higher self is always awake, and is your subconscious. So you're not alone. Other aspects of you are working on it. They are you, so they want the same thing. So your conscious mind can go do something fun after it does some of its focusing work. And again, I know you're going to be like, but how often should I focus? Well, at least a couple times a week, maybe a couple times a day, but I wouldn't go 24/7 on it. I personally don't. I don't micromanage my thoughts because I know I have a higher aspect working on it. And my conscious mind has to do just enough to show it that it's on the right track and it's getting there, and then the higher self will sort of take over. That's how I look at it, at least. I hope this helps you guys. Have a wonderful day and happy manifesting.